All right. How the moon would cry and sleep the sun away. And I was just a child, I knew I was afraid, but there was nothing to gain, I found, by running the other way. I had to stand my ground, keep the wolves at bay. Well, I knew somehow there would come a day, so I stood my ground, kept the wolves at bay. I could not take no more, I'd had my fill. Stars had faded from my eyes and run from looks that kill. And there was no one coming around to save me from the fray. I had to stand my ground and keep the wolves at bay. Well, I knew somehow there would come a day, so I stood my ground, kept the wolves at bay. The years have gone by, and the calling carries on. Scars above the eye are tender to the bone. And though I've settled down, I hear the children say, you have to stand your ground and keep the wolves at bay. Well, I knew somehow there would come a day when I stood my ground, kept the wolves at bay. Well, I knew somehow there would come a day, so I stood my ground, kept the wolves at bay.
Welcome back to another episode of the Last Boy Scouts Survival and Bushcraft. Today we're going to be talking about the Ax1 by Beavercraft. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss this one, and you're going to learn something. Alright folks, let me introduce you to the Ax1 by Beavercraft. Beavercraft is a brand based out of Eastern Europe, specifically Ukraine. they make hand-forged bushcrafting tools to meet your bushcrafting, camping, and survival everyday needs. They sent me this one to showcase. Now, I love this thing for how compact it is, because I can shove this in a go bag, I can put this in my big backpack. It's relatively lightweight. It's featured with a genuine cowhide belt retention holder, as well as a genuine cowhide sheath for the blade. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, okay? The overall length of the axe, some of you may refer to this as simply a camp axe or a hatchet or a small axe, whatever you so choose to call this. It sits at approximately 11 inches in length, and the handle is made out of ash wood. The head, which features the blade portion, has a convex grind that's approximately 3 inches in length. Hand forged. This thing is badass. I personally like the aesthetics of this thing, as well as their Bushcraft Beavercraft decal. In addition to this tool, they feature many other tools. In the description box, I'm gonna leave you a link that you can click to go straight to this specific tool, but I recommend that you go check out all the rest of the bushcrafting, camping, outdoors, survival type tools that they feature on their site. Stop by, check them out. Let's test this thing out. In addition to all the uses with its blade, the reinforced, hand-forged, hammered 1066 steel, along with the custom flat portion located at the back of the axe, is perfect for driving in tent poles, tent stakes, or any other hardcore work that you need to do related to hammering. Now, a word of caution: make sure any hammering that you do, you're gripping the handle closer to the head and you have the sheath secured covering the blade, so that way on any upward momentum you're not accidentally going to cut yourself or others around you. A couple quick points of safety. Whenever you're done with any sharp tool, make sure you secure it safely in its sheath this goes double, triple for axes. Axes are one of the most dangerous bushcraft, camp, and survival tools because of the size of the blade, the heaviness of the head, and the fact that you have to use momentum swinging. At any time, that momentum can be overdone and you can end up accidentally impaling yourself or others in your area. Make sure you have an appropriate distance whenever you are using an axe. A good rule of thumb that I learned in Scouts is we would grab the axe by the head and we would basically make a full circle perimeter to ensure nobody was in the length, the outstretched handle. So that way, holding the blade, nobody's gonna get cut. Another thing, while carrying a hatchet like this, in addition to keeping the sheath on, if you have a designated belt holder, make sure the blade is always facing forward, not behind you. This way, if you were to accidentally trip and fall, despite the sheath being on the blade would go down towards the ground if in case this accidentally popped off, and not back into you or into somebody else that may be falling on top of you or whatnot. Axe carrying.
By the axe head and not by the handle.
You never want to carry this thing down, out, and away. For the same reason as we mentioned before, that if you fall, you never know where this thing is going to go. After every use of your axe or hatchet, you always want to make sure that you clean off any dirt, debris, or particles. This will maintain the longevity and functionality of your axe as well. I've said it many times before, a sharp blade is a safe blade. Make sure that you always maintain your blade. If you're interested in learning on how to maintain your bushcraft knives, blades, as well as your axe blades in a sharp and safe condition, check out Bushcraft Blade Maintenance. In addition, after this video, I encourage you to check out Axemanship Basics, another episode that I did to teach you the nomenclature of the axe, as well as a few basic safety tips for axe handling. Well, that's gonna wrap things up for us today. Make sure you head over to the link in the description box. Check out Beavercraft. You will not be disappointed by its price point, as well as its quality and outstanding aesthetics. If you like what you see, hit that like button. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more of the Last Boy Scouts survival and bushcraft. And like always, stay safe, stay vigilant. Knowledge is your weapon. Be prepared.